dating culture was very interesting at Bethel. I remember one guy, he was being very persistent. And he was like, you know, the biggest reason why I really want to ask you out is because it would piss off my grandfather because he hates black people.
That's
I just want
crazy.
to bring you home and just piss him off.
That's
I was standing
crazy.
there, my eyes were closed, and I felt somebody pulling on my hair during worship. I felt somebody pulling on my hair, and I'm like, so I turned around, and it was this girl, and she was like, "Oh, you could feel that?" And I said, yeah, it's my hair.
That's
Well, I thought it
crazy.
was fake. I was like, don't you ever, mind you, this is during worship. I was like, would you like it if I came over just pulling on your hair while your eyes are closed and you're in a vulnerable position worshiping? Everybody looks at me around and they're like, hey, like petting me, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to be mad. Am I crazy? I was leaving revival group and this girl, white girl, comes up to me sobbing. I'm talking about shaking, crying. And she was standing with two other white women. And they were like, go ahead, go ahead. Can I have a hug? And I said, why? What's wrong?
It's
She was like,
crazy.
today in a revival group, we were talking about overcoming our fears. And I'm very scared of you. I've never spoken to this girl. I didn't know this girl existed. She literally was when I tell you shaking red, two girls were holding her, one on one side, one on the other
That's
side. You want to
crazy.
hug me because you're scared of me? I said, what are you scared of? You're just very intimidating, just a scary person. People that she was with, they started encouraging her. This was very difficult for her. We're just so proud of her.
Yo,
And
that's
they're looking at
wild.
me like, let her hug you. And I was like, no.
I'm not laughing at her experience. This is crazy. Hold on, I got another video. Um, it's crazy. She shares a little bit more about her experience here. Let me pull that up for you. Yeah, yo, I want to hug you is crazy.
I told him, my mom has stage 4 breast cancer. It's not looking good. She's been saying she feels weak and she feels very alone. And I feel like I'm going to go home for a bit to help her. He was like, but you just started the internship. My mom has stage 4 breast cancer. She's saying that she wishes that her children were at home. Like, what's not clicking? So he was like, so do you feel like you're going to come back? I was like, I don't know. My mom is at home with stage 4 breast cancer. He was like, I guess you're going to leave me. I guess you're going to leave me. I went home. That happened to be the last 2 months of my mom's life. I didn't get one phone call.
Sad.
I didn't get one text, one check in from him the entire time that I was gone. Now, mind you, I told him everything that was going on. He asked me, he said, I want to be your leader. I want to be your covering. I want to be a spiritual father. I told him I don't need a father, but I don't mind you being my pastor. When my mom died, I knew that he knew. I knew that Bill knew. I knew that everybody knew. I knew. It felt so dark.
So when she says Bill, she's talking about Bill Johnson, one of the leaders at Bethel.
My good friends in first year at the time, she was leading worship. They were like, you should come see her lead worship. I was like, okay, cool. Walked around the corner, he spotted me, and it was like he saw a ghost. He was like, can we talk? Can we go over to the side? I know you're angry at me. I know you're mad at me. I know you want to scream. I know you want to curse me out. That's fine. I'll just take it. I was like, no, I don't. He was like, no, just do it. Just do it. I could take it. I said, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say to you. You know what you did. You know that you dropped the ball and you failed me. He starts crying. He was like, please don't tell anybody that I'm crying. This is between me and you. I feel like a sissy right now because I'm crying. If you ever want to come back and do third year, like you could stay with me. You could stay with my family. I don't care. You could stay in our house. It'll be free. I was like, I am done with this place. Like,
I know that's
I
right.
have nothing. I have nothing that I need from this place.
So she's talking about her experience at Bethel. You know, unfortunately, they're known for their cultish. Honestly, I don't even want to say cultish. Cult practices. They have this infatuation with like miracles, signs, and wonders. They're always talking about how the presence of God was so thick in the room that gold dust started coming from heaven into the room. And they were also widely known for one time when one of their leaders' children passed away. They were all praying that the child would come back to life, and it was prophesied that the baby would come back to life. And it was one of the most gross things I heard. Like, of course, the baby did not come back to life. Um, it's just sad, but she's sharing her experience, and because I've experienced churches in ways that don't represent Christ, I understand what she went through. I do. Um, and I think one of the scariest things is to have a traumatic, life changing, mind altering church experience and not have a healthy or firm foundation of Jesus already, because it can really send you off the cliff. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm not telling you somebody else's story. I'm telling you what I know personally. And I did a little bit of research on the platform that interviewed her. It seems like this whole platform there, it exists to, like, for people who are deconstructing their faith, who are not believing any longer. And from the interviews that I watched, the clips, it seems like a lot of people who never really had, and I say this respectfully, but they never really had a grip of like fundamental understanding about the gospel, about Jesus, about the church and fellowship and how it should look and how it exists. It seems like they were either brought up in a church to where they didn't have good teaching, or it was a cult from jump, or they were reaching out for a church, and something that was sensationalized appealed to them. Bethel is one of those sensational churches that appeal to your emotions, your feelings, and to, all of this. I heard from God, and God said this, God said that, and rather than like building up and discipling in a biblical way. And unfortunately, there's platforms that exist for you to to spew out your unbelief on, rather than getting the help that you need and the understanding of Jesus. And I did a little bit of digging on this young lady, and she's living a completely alternative lifestyle. And there were also people on that platform who interviewed who are as well, and they were just, it's just a lot of confusion, a lot of brokenness, a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, whether with the church, whether it happened at their home life. It's just a lot of that going on that platform. But I do want to say this: the fact that she's wrong about faith, and the fact that her alternative lifestyle is wrong, it does not dismiss the brokenness that happened in her life from what was supposed to be a healthy place. It was supposed to be a church representing God, Jesus Christ specifically. And it doesn't dismiss that. And I think we have to speak to that. And these churches do exist. They don't represent Christ. And we have to be understanding that people are having traumatic experiences in churches that are using the name of God but are not honoring him by way of his word. And there are also platforms like this that are giving, that are platforming people and their experiences and their trauma, and are impacting people and confusing people and pushing against faith in Christ. And we have to be able to push back against that too, because just because someone has a bad experience, obviously wrong experience, an unchristlike experience at a church, it does not change the truth that Jesus is real. He is the Son of God. He did come and live his life. His life, death, burial, and resurrection is why we can believe on the gospel that has the power to transform our lives. And when our faith is in him, we are given the Holy Spirit as a gift to then live out this walk of faith. It does not change that. It does not change that we're called to fellowship in a Bible believing church. There will not be a perfect church, but we should not be sitting in churches to where there's an abuse of power, uh, to where there's heretical teaching, to where your hair is being pulled in worship, to where you're being forced to hug someone because they say they're afraid of you for whatever their reasons are. Some pastor, saying, ghosting you when you lost someone in your home, like especially as important as your mother, and then saying, hey, come back to the church. You can stay with me and my family. Like just all this weird nonsense. Like you shouldn't have to experience that, And I've shared this before, and maybe one day I'll share the full story. But I was desiring community and accountability so bad as a Christian that I made myself available to what I believe a church with cultish practices, to where rather than hearing that, hey, I am a believer, every conversation I had with people there, they were already questioning whether I believe. Everywhere I went, it was, who did you study the Bible with? It was me needing to validate my faith with them in order for me to even be part of the church. And I remember one of the final conversations, as I shared before, they wanted me to assimilate to how they do things. And that's not how God does things. God saves people from different backgrounds, and we don't have to all look alike and assimilate to just how you do things. We are to be Christ-like, not your denomination-like. And I said this before, sometimes desiring something so bad is the quickest way to get wrong. And I don't know her full story, but when you are wanting help, when you're wanting hope, if you're not careful, you will be sucked into a cult. You will be sucked into people, places, and things that do not have let's just be this, they're godless. They don't have Christ in mind, but they are willing to use his name, to use his practices to take advantage of you. So you got to be careful. And I'm proof that there's hope, that you can come out of these environments, still be a person of faith, still see Jesus for who he is, and still fellowship and find a church home that is representing Christ, teaching the Bible with clarity and understanding and discipleship and accountability. I am proof of that. And there are many people who are proof of that. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. And always remember, you can go and check out the website, www.there'shopbrand.com, to get you some There's Hope merch. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, subscribe to the channel, because we exist to remind people that there's hope in God. No matter where you've come from, no matter what you've experienced, there's hope for you. All right, go grab some merch, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this video. I'll catch y'all next time.